can see NASA astronaut Tom Marshburn. He's speaking with Deputy ISS Program Manager Kirk Shireman, who's down on the ground as one of the NASA support personnel for this landing. Also there with Marshburn, Eric Bowe, the Deputy Chief of the Astronaut Office.
Feels good down here, beautiful day.
Yeah, you guys look good.
Alright, so they're going to tell you what the situation now. Right away, we were kept triple checking our sets. One to just because they didn't fall down. You want
just a second.
Fall down between the seat and the wall. So that spacecraft, man, was perfect. Yeah. Man, we should have stopped it.
Everything there, yeah.
I feel
so much better when you're moving around. They could have come back. They could have landed. I think it's time to take off.
What's your name? Ella.
So this is one.
Here is some water for you. And there will be some tea in the tent. And the weather is great.
Server will be with Rafi as well.
Okay, and
no, it's not.
we'll take care of you.
No fire or anything.
Yeah, I was surprised. Or you can see the stop line on that fire.
Yeah.
Last time, there was almost nobody, and the land was covered in ice. Sat very nicely in our descent vehicle. And
For more Russian Mi-8 helicopters continuing to touch down. Right now, 2/3 of our descent crew already extracted from the Soyuz module.
Okay.
Just waiting for Canadian Chris Hadfield.
so one of our helicopters didn't take off.
Next up for the crew will be a quick jaunt over to the medical tent set up about 100 yards away from this landing site, following which they'll take a helicopter flight back to the Karaganda airport. From there they'll again go their separate ways, with Roman Romanenko boarding a Gagarin Cosmonaut Training Center aircraft to head back to the Chkalovsky Airport in Star City, Russia, his home base of operations. While he's doing that, NASA astronaut Chris Hadfield and NASA astronaut Tom Marshburn, and Canadian astronaut Chris Hadfield will board a NASA plane bound for Houston, where they'll get a chance to be reunited with family and friends.
Dmitrievich. Blood pressure 74. Is it 76? 67.
You guys are leaning forward too. That's on the right side.
97. 97. No, it's the oxygen level.
Yeah.
And the pulse is 64. What? Well, at first it was 84.
Okay.
Let me, I'll do it myself. You just press, take it easy.
Looks like you've been working with Cole.
Yeah, that's a good thing. Wow, that's I was wondering who put that one thing in my hand. It's sunlight.
Yeah.
That's weird.
You guys picked a good day for a landing.
I'll say. Man. Thank you for that DVA.
Yeah.
Careful, scratch your hands.
All right. That was just all up 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just landed and just touched down. They should be
NASA astronaut Tom Marshburn there.
I don't think there's any problem.
Returning home successfully from his second space flight.
And
Also having completed a spacewalk just 2 days ago, back on Saturday.
vodka.
It's all good. We'll keep you informed.
Just a second. Sergey, are you ready? Congratulations on your return after the mission. So how did everything go? Well, as we have seen, as we have been told before, there were no unexpected, there is nothing unexpected, and however, this time when we landed, we have a lot of people meeting us, because last time there weren't that many greeting people, and the helicopter noticed us and actually escorted us to the landing site, and it's great that the landing was nominal. And so I tried this second type of landing. Well, everything was nominal, but we a little bit swayed from the direct course and landed on the side. And last time we didn't manage to bring the helicopters, but this time you had the helicopters. The weather is just great, so we have the helicopters. Thank you. Are you going to fly another time? We'll see. Thank you.
Getting a few words there from Soyuz Commander Roman Romanenko. You'll hear them comment on the weather quite a bit, as the weather in Kazakhstan can be quite unpleasant during certain times of the year. Meanwhile, Canadian Space Agency astronaut Chris Hadfield being lowered into his seat now after being extracted from the Soyuz craft. All three crew members now safely out.
Okay, do we have everything here? Well, about our leave. We put this signature in the BD kit between the control panel and the BD container.
Again, this landing on target at the predicted site, on time as well. The official touchdown time coming at 9:31 p.m. Central.
Roman? No, it's just 21 pages, and I needed to give it to somebody. It's between the control panel. And you signed it there? Yes.
Well, it's quicker. Yeah, it's definitely an e-ticket. Coming home. Yeah. It's not quite the SLF, though. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Oh, what's amazing is just...
Am I in the way? We'll see it once again. Oxygen 90.
Thumbs up from Canadian astronaut Chris Hadfield, returning from his command of the International Space Station. Chris was the first Canadian commander of a spacecraft, wrapping up a historic 144 days on board the station.
Unintelligible. Maybe You could ask them to take away the watch. No, not to me. To the crew surgeon.
Got to put it normally do it? Then you got a skeeter on your foot. I guess. I can't find out. Man, those carrier. I watch it with my kids. I'll carry it for you. Cool. Did you do this on the shuttle? Did you start moving your head around? I did. Did you do that when I did? Well, that's the thing. It's weird to do this. My head still hurts.
How are you doing? Good. Yeah. Boy, that was quite a ride home. Quite a song. Great little spaceship. We were laughing. It was a lot of fun. You may not go home on the same road. Great ride.
So again, the crew right now out of their Soyuz craft, getting a few moments to relax in the seats there. Pretty soon they'll be carried over to the medical tent, which has been set up just about 100 yards away from the Soyuz vehicle. Once in there, they'll be removed from the Soka launch and entry suits that they wore throughout their descent this evening. They'll undergo some initial medical exams before loading up into awaiting helicopters, which will then fly them to the air base at Karaganda in Kazakhstan. From there, they will then depart. Roman Romanenko heading to Star City, Russia, Hadfield and Marshburn heading back to Houston. But for now, the crew members out of the Soyuz craft, which landed successfully at 9:31 p.m. Central Time. Search and recovery forces on the ground, maintaining the vehicle and removing the crew members, all three again out right now and in their chairs in the Kazakh steppe. So again, as you can see, all three of our Expedition 35 crew members safely outside of their Soyuz craft at this point. All the landing and recovery forces there on the ground and able to get them out successfully. Among the crew, specialists from RSC Energia and also NASA and the Canadian Space Agency. Among the crews out there is NASA Public Affairs Officer Josh Byerly. And we have Josh on location on the phone right now. Josh, why don't you just tell us a little bit about what's taking place out there? It looks like the weather is certainly cooperating.
Yeah, you know, what a difference a couple of months makes. Whenever Kevin Ford came back home here several weeks ago, the weather was significantly different than it is now, but it's actually quite pleasant out here. It's probably in the upper 50s, low 60s. The wind is kind of kicking up a little bit, but it's obviously much better than it was back whenever Ford landed. All three crew members look like they're doing very well. They're in the middle of making some phone calls to families and friends, and there's quite a number of media here also taking some pictures, and they look like they're doing pretty well.
All right, and it's our understanding that next the crew will be moving on to the medical tent and then back on to Karaganda. Looking forward to that welcoming ceremony?
Yeah, so we're going to head out toward Karaganda here shortly. There was 12 helicopters actually assigned to this landing today. Two of them had some mechanical issues and were not able to take off, so we are going to wait for a couple of spare helicopters to show up, and then we all should be making our way back to the airport. And like you said, part of the crew will go back to Houston. Romanenko will head back to Moscow, and then everything should be rocking and rolling along as planned. So it looks like they're getting ready to actually move the crew to the tent here in just a few seconds.
Okay, well, thanks, Josh, for your eyes down on the ground. We certainly appreciate it. Good luck getting on that helicopter and getting back. I wish you all the best. We'll see you back here.